Imagine the late 1500s. The world was a vast, mysterious place filled with uncharted territories and unknown peoples. The seas were the highways of exploration, and the horizon was a gateway to endless possibilities. It was a really exciting time. The age of exploration was happening, and England wanted in on the action. The air buzzed with anticipation as explorers prepared for their journeys, their minds filled with dreams of discovery and adventure. They sent explorers all over the world. One of these guys was Sir Francis Drake. Drake was not just any sailor, he was a legend in the making, known for his daring and skill on the high seas. He was a super skilled sailor and really brave. Drake sailed all the way around the world, taking treasure from Spanish ships as he went. His voyages were filled with peril and excitement as he navigated through uncharted waters and faced fierce battles. Drake's adventures brought lots of riches back to England. They also started what would become a huge empire. The treasures he captured were not just gold and silver, but also spices, silks and other exotic goods that fueled England's economy. Drake's trips and those of other explorers were the beginning of England's journey to becoming super powerful. These voyages laid the foundation for England's expansion as they established new trade routes and colonies. They found new places, made trade routes and claimed land for England. Each new discovery was a step towards building an empire that would span the globe. They didn't know these early trips would create an empire that would be all over the world. The seeds of the British Empire were sown in these early voyages as explorers claimed vast territories in the name of the Crown. These voyages weren't just about exploring, though. England, like other European countries, wanted the resources from the Americas. The New World was rich in resources, and the English were eager to exploit them. This made them richer, but it was bad for the people who already lived there. The arrival of the Europeans brought disease, displacement and conflict to the indigenous populations. The start of the empire came from wanting to be rich and powerful, and also from taking advantage of others. The pursuit of wealth and power often came at a great cost to those who were conquered and colonized. This mix of exploration, wanting to be rich and taking advantage of others, would shape the British Empire for hundreds of years. The legacy of these early explorers would influence the course of history. As England grew into a global superpower, it was a time of big changes, new discoveries and bold plans that changed the world. The innovations and ambitions of this era set the stage for the modern world as new technologies and ideas spread across continents. And it was just the beginning. The story of the British Empire was only starting, and its impact would be felt for centuries to come, shaping the world in ways that are still evident today. 1588, a year that would forever change the course of history for England and the rest of Europe. This was a really important year for England. It marked a pivotal moment in the nation's history, a time when the fate of the country hung in the balance. The Spanish Armada, a huge fleet of warships sent by King Philip II of Spain, sailed towards England. This formidable fleet was one of the largest ever assembled, consisting of around 130 ships and over 30,000 men. They wanted to overthrow Queen Elizabeth I and make Spain the boss. King Philip II aimed to restore Catholicism in England and remove the Protestant Queen from power, but England was ready to fight. Under the leadership of Queen Elizabeth I, the English prepared their defences, rallying their smaller but more agile fleet. The English fleet, smaller but quicker, fought the Spanish Armada in the English Channel. The English ships, with their superior maneuverability, were able to outmaneuver the larger Spanish galleons. It was a big sea battle. The clash between the two fleets was intense and dramatic, with cannon fire lighting up the skies and the sound of battle echoing across the waters. English ships, led by people like Sir Francis Drake, attacked the Spanish ships. Drake, a seasoned naval commander, played a crucial role in the English strategy, using his experience and tactical genius to outwit the Spanish. They were faster and could move around better. The English ships' speed and agility allowed them to strike quickly and retreat before the Spanish could respond effectively. The weather also helped England. The infamous English weather played a significant role in the battle, with strong winds and storms disrupting the Spanish fleet's formation. Big storms messed up the Spanish fleet. The severe weather conditions scattered the Spanish ships, making it difficult for them to regroup and mount a coordinated attack. England's victory was a huge deal for all of Europe. The defeat of the Spanish Armada was celebrated across England and marked a significant shift in the balance of power in Europe. It was a turning point. The victory not only secured England's independence but also established it as a formidable naval power. England wasn't a small island anymore. The triumph over the Spanish Armada marked the beginning of England's rise as a global power, with far-reaching influence and ambitions. It was now a powerful country with a strong navy that could even fight Spain. The English Navy's success against the Spanish Armada demonstrated its capability to defend the nation and project power abroad. Beating the Spanish Armada was really important. This victory was a defining moment in English history, solidifying its status as a dominant maritime force. It made England a major sea power, which let them control the oceans. The control of the seas allowed England to expand its trade routes and establish colonies around the world. This was key in the next few centuries, as England built a massive empire overseas. The foundations laid by the victory over the Spanish Armada enabled England to become a global empire, influencing world history for generations to come. In the early 1600s, England looked west to North America. The allure of new lands, untapped resources, and the promise of expanding their empire drove the English to explore and eventually settle in this vast, unknown territory. In 1607, they built their first permanent settlement in what is now Virginia. This settlement was named Jamestown after King James I, and it marked the beginning of a new era for England and its ambitions in the New World. Jamestown, named after King James I, was the first English colony in North America that lasted. It was a bold endeavor, fraught with challenges and uncertainties, but it laid the foundation for future English colonies. It was a tough start. The people in Jamestown faced lots of problems. The harsh environment, lack of adequate supplies, and unfamiliarity with the land made survival a daily struggle. Sickness, not enough food, and fighting with the Powhatan people who already lived there made things very difficult. The settlers were unprepared for the new diseases and the scarcity of food, which led to many deaths and a constant state of fear and uncertainty. Life in early Jamestown was a fight to stay alive. Every day was a test of endurance and resilience. The settlers had to adapt quickly to their new environment, learning to grow crops, build shelters, and find ways to coexist with the native populations. But the colonists didn't give up. They hoped for better opportunities and wanted land and resources. Their determination and perseverance were driven by the promise of a better life and the potential for wealth and prosperity in this new land. Jamestown surviving was important. It was the start of England's colonies in North America. The success of Jamestown proved that permanent English settlements were possible, paving the way for future colonies and the eventual establishment of a new nation. Over the next few decades, more settlements popped up along the coast, creating what would become the 13 colonies. These new settlements were driven by the same motivations as Jamestown, the search for land, resources, and new opportunities. These colonies, first built to make money, eventually became a new country, the United States of America. The economic activities such as tobacco farming and trade laid the economic foundation for the future nation. Jamestown was a key moment for the British Empire. It started a new chapter where England wanted a permanent place in North America. This settlement marked the beginning of England's long-term presence and influence in the New World. This desire for land, resources, and power shaped the relationship between England and North America for many years to come. The legacy of Jamestown is a testament to the enduring impact of these early settlers and their role in shaping the future of the continent. The 1700s saw the British Empire get much, much bigger. Wanting wealth and power, Britain spread its influence across the world. From the Caribbean to India, British power was everywhere. But it wasn't easy. The British East India Company, a big trading company, took control of parts of India. In North America, the 13 colonies grew, but they started having problems with Britain. They wanted more freedom and didn't like British rules, which caused unrest. This expansion wasn't free. People resisted British rule in many ways. Native people in North America and India fought back against the British, taking their land and changing their way of life. Many people under British rule wanted freedom and to control their own lives. The 1700s was a time of both growth and trouble for the British Empire. It was a time of great wealth and power, but also increasing resistance. The unhappiness that started during this time would eventually lead to revolutions that challenged the entire empire.